Welcome to part 5 of Self-Inflicted Wounds, How to Heal When We Hurt Ourselves. I'm the serial intellectual. I create intellectual products that transform people and change the world. We have just begun to get into the practical steps on how to heal ourselves. Part 4, we talked about acknowledging it as the first step. Today, we're going to get into the second step, which is taking responsibility for it. And we're going to talk about some really practical ways to do this so that it's very clear. One thing I cannot stand is when people talk in such vague terms that you can't even know what they're talking about. So if you're going to heal from a self-inflicted wound, you're going to have to take full responsibility for it. And this is what it means practically. First, you're going to have to acknowledge that it was actually done. You go, well, of course, duh. You'll be amazed at how many people don't do this first step. You have to acknowledge it happened. It's real, and I did it. You have to acknowledge it. You cannot take responsibility without doing that first. Second, you have to admit you did it. And when you admit this, you can't surround that confession, as it were, with excuses and explanations and the reason why it happened and what happened was. You can't use all that nonsense. You just have to say, I did it. There's power in saying, I did it. There's ownership and healing that comes from confessing, I did it. The third thing you need to do is abandon excuses. Excuses. You got to abandon them. Now, it's so natural for us to justify ourselves, to explain ourselves, and to have reasons why we do what we do. And we have a ton of reasons why we do what we do. And I know there's a difference between an explanation and an excuse, but you've got to abandon them all if you're really going to heal. You have to take full ownership of this, because if you leave areas in your life, in your mind, in your heart, where you go, well, I don't really need to take ownership of this. What you're doing is abdicating. That's a big word that simply means you're giving responsibility for your healing process away to something else or someone else. And you're not going to heal. That's the whole point of this series. Self-inflicting wounds, how to heal when we hurt ourselves. So we have to do it. We have to go to physical therapy. We have to put in the work, right? The fourth thing you're going to have to do, if you're going to take responsibility for this, is accept the consequences. There's going to be consequences. Those consequences might be mental, they may be emotional, they may be spiritual, they may be physical, and they're probably going to be relational, whether that's with God or with others. People you love, people you're close to, maybe it's your partner, your spouse, your kids, whoever knew or has found out about your self-inflicted wounds. There's going to be consequences, and you need to accept them. Stop fighting them and pretending they don't exist and saying that it's other people's fault that you did. No, just accept them. I did it. I acknowledge it. I admit it, right? I'm abandoning excuses and I'm accepting the consequences. They're all mine. And here's the fifth and last thing you're going to do if you're really going to take responsibility and get on this healing journey. You're going to act. And what you're going to do is you're going to do whatever it takes to heal. If it means therapy, you're going. If it means you're going to get into a physical fitness routine, you're doing it. If it means you need to start meditating, you're doing it. If it means you need to start reading your Bible and praying, if it means you need new friends, you're doing it. You're going to do it. This is how you know you've taken responsibility for it. This is how you really know.